I think all of us are a little tired of hearing the word productivity these days, and it makes sense. We're all sick of optimizing our day from the moment we wake to the moment we go to sleep. But if you do have an active goal or dream or pursuit that you're walking towards, there is absolutely a need to figure out how to be more productive. But not only that, but to continue to have that passion and that joy and that love for that goal that you're pursuing. And there's one thing that I rarely ever hear talk about when it comes to productivity or optimizing your workflow, getting closer to the goal that you have in mind and not give up. I'm going to share that one really big thing along with 3 practices that you can start today. And the last one really is my favorite. I know that's really cliche, but the third one is a little bit out of the box, and I hope you stick around. Recently on a Tim Ferriss podcast, he mentioned a concept shared by his friend Josh Waitzkin, a child chess prodigy that later became a world-class martial artist and now tackling big waves. He spoke of peak elite performance and this idea that a lot of people chronically exist in the simmering 6. Instead of a more natural rhythm of, let's say, sprint and rest, thinking sprint as a 10, rest as a 1. A lot of us are hanging out in the 6, maybe 4 to 6. Think about someone who's chronically busy but never productive. Animals in the natural world are never constantly on. We're the only species that can be doing literally nothing, yet still not be truly resting, keeping our nervous system in a chronic low-grade stress state with an elevated baseline cortisol. It's like we're constantly on, but at a lower capacity. And if we just allowed ourselves to fully rest when we're off and then tackle the thing with 100% capacity, it would truly make a world of difference. This is your permission to rest, but it's not that simple. Let me break it down. I know it's hard, especially if you're someone that's starting out in a business or you're a solopreneur. You feel like the world falls on your shoulders, and if you don't do everything all the time, then everything will fall apart. But here's something about doing and being. Imagine these 2 spheres as being and doing. Doing is all the shoulds, things you need to be tackling on your to-do list, projects that you need to follow up on, things that you need to start. Being is all the other things that you do while you live. You're just being. Maybe it's making matcha, maybe it's hanging out with friends, maybe it's relaxing and reading your favorite book. What happens a lot when you're in the simmering 6 is essentially you think you're resting, you think you're a being, yet you're actually still in the state of doing. One of my really good friends who's just starting her own business called me the other night. But she told me that earlier that day she had gone on a walk, and that was kind of her treat to taking a break, just being, right? Living life. And she felt guilty about doing that because there was a long list of doing and shoulds that she needed to tackle. And I realized that there's a critical difference. When you're resting and feeling bad about resting, it is not true rest. It is not truly a 1. You are literally wasting energy. Our brain consumes 20% of our total energy. So when our brain is actively on, even when we're meant to be resting and recuperating and getting ready for the next sprint, we're wasting a lot of energy that can be put later towards productivity. Luckily, my friend took my suggestion. She spent the rest of the evening doing things she wanted and did her best to not feel guilty. And guess what? The very next day, she came back ready to sprint. Similarly, when we're stuck trying to solve a problem, it is generally not very helpful to stay stuck in a spiral state where there is no solution nor answer, but our mental capacity is being used. When we do have a challenge that we need to tackle, it may seem counterintuitive, but the best way forward is actually to give it space, to step back, to allow more porousness to come into our subconscious, which has a lot more answers than our conscious minds can access at times. Think about a shower thought, or when you're taking a really long walk, or just hanging out with friends. When our mind is not solely focused on the thing that you want to solve, there are scientists and artists who have all had moments of brilliant inspiration that came to them in a dream. Sometimes instead of spiraling in the same circle, spaciousness, walking away, is actually a much less painful and more direct way towards the answer or the solution that we need. So let's get really practical. This is something that I've done that has helped tremendously. Literally set an hour or 2. It can be together in one chunk or separate throughout the day. Those are your rest periods. And when that hour is on, you can do whatever you want. Practice not feeling guilty or bad about not being in the shoulds and doing. Simply practice how to relax, enjoy yourself, fully being present in the being moment. And trust me, Next time you're feeling frustrated or not inspired, set aside an hour to fully allow yourself to rest. And I believe you'll feel much more ready to take the next sprint. And maybe even an idea or inspiration will come to you magically. Most people manage their time, not their energy, and we're energetic beings. Think about a morning bird versus a night owl. Their peak performance are going to be vastly different throughout the day. But let's break this down even further. Not all hours are equal. We're going to do an energy audit. I want you to try this for yourself. Do an honest audit of your to-do lists on your calendar, whether it's last week or last month, and then color code it. Green for the things that you did that made you feel more energized, that excited you. Yellow for things that were neutral. Think grocery shopping, answering emails, cleaning your house. And red for things that made you feel less alive and maybe really drained you. Now we're going to analyze the data. How much of your week was green versus red? If you're currently feeling burnt out, it may be likely that 10% of your tasks were green, 60% were red, and 30% were yellow. We have to understand that not all hours are equal. 1 hour in the green zone can equal to 3 hours of output. 1 hour in the red zone might put you in a coma for the next couple of hours while you struggle to get that energy back. So here's an experiment for the next week. Protect one green activity on your calendar per day, as if your life depends on it. Cut or delegate one red if that's possible. The caveat to this is that you have to be honest. There's going to be yellow and reds that we all have to take care of. But what are some of the tasks on your list piled on simply to make you feel more busy and productive? And which tasks are actually a benefit to you, whether it's short-term or long-term? The third practice might seem a little bit out of the box and a little bit woo-woo for some, but if you are actively in pursuit of a goal, a dream, a project, this is incredibly important to keep you staying on your path and not give up prematurely. First, I want you to think about whatever goal you're trying to accomplish. There are hundreds and thousands of people who are trying to do the same thing and giving up every day. So if you manage to make it through one more day, you're ahead already by a long shot. However, none of us are excluded from the doubts that inevitably pop up. What if I can't pull it off? What if this is all for nothing? Am I just wasting my time? I took a risk and a chance on myself. What if none of this works out? What will I do? All those things that actually makes moving forward seem so impossible. And the pressure is especially daunting and heavy when our livelihood depends on it. I know we've all got bills to pay. So how do we not give up while in pursuit of our dreams and our goals? If you ever scrolled on social media and stumbled upon one of those manifestation videos and you think to yourself, this sounds a little bit out there, you've all heard it. It is better to stay in a higher vibration to attract the similar vibrational things into your life. And so here are 2 simple exercises I want you to have in your tool belt. I want you to take a moment and hold the object of your desire in your mind. It can be a goal, it could be an art project, it could be a book, it could be just how your life looks. Something that feels really important to you that you're actively trying to work towards. And now I want you to take a moment and hold this vision in your mind. Notice how the desire, the longing, the yearning of that goal, of that dream feels in your head, in your throat, in your body, and just stay there with that vision. And I'll bet for most of us, it feels really good. If we just stayed here in the wanting, there is nothing wrong with desire and want. It feels really good. It only stops feeling possible and good when the mental dialogue starts to kick in. There's so many people trying to do the same thing. I can't make it happen. I don't know how. All of those voices and doubts is what actually starts to create this roadblocks in us to slow down the momentum. Consider alternative routes before you even get to the point of seeing our first success. As simple as it seems, allowing ourselves to marinate in the desires themselves and the wanting can continue to encourage us to walk towards that goal and not let our own selves become the biggest roadblocks. And when you do this practice, you're also attuned to this frequency of not expecting an outcome, but rather living in it. Because sometimes it's hard to get over the whole manifestation woo-woo thing where you act as if you already have the thing, But the desire exists, the want exists, the vision does exist. You don't have to put an additional layer of feeling like you have it, just live in that vision itself. And when we continue to practice these states, this staying in the feeling good, the more higher vibrational frequency states, if you want to call it, then our brain learns to return to the state more and more instead of spiraling in the doubts and the fears and the what ifs. But training our brain is just like training our body. You have to put the reps in, and more you will start to look for evidence of why things are working and why you should continue to pursue your dream. And the last one I want to leave you with is this thing that my friend told me about. I was feeling really stressed about the outcome of my goal, the expectation of how I was going to get there, and feeling like I was so far away from that goal. And she said, when you win the lottery, you don't get the money right away. The money is yours, but there's a processing time before it actually lands in your bank account. Now, this might be a new or not new concept to you, but it is truly another great way to stay in that motivated and glass half full mind state when you find yourself spiraling. I think a lot of us forget how important it is that our state of mind, our mental, emotional, and physical state also has a huge say in whether or not we have the energy to propel ourselves forward, to stick to that goal when we feel defeated or doubtful or fearful that we can't make it. Those practices have really been helpful for me, especially the one where you allow yourself to fully, deeply rest. Every time I have done this, I have come back so much more energized, and also it's given me ideas to make videos like this one. In this day and age, while it feels like it's either optimizing our days down to the minute or living a slow life that seems like a privilege that most of us cannot afford, I truly hope this video helps you find a center. I'm creating something right now that I wish I had years ago. It's a 5-day course called Return to Self. You've tried the affirmations, the mindset hacks, the just detach approach, but your worth still feels conditional. And the harder you try, the less you feel like yourself. The problem is we can't attract genuine connections or build the life that we want when we're running on autopilot. If we're constantly performing or proving or seeking validation, or simply denying our desires by being hyper independent or acting like we don't have those desires. Each day we're going to dive deep to help you see the patterns that you've been trapped in, to understand where these stories came from, and then begin to start rewriting them. We're going to learn how to start anchoring our worth in our mind and body, and have tools and practices to help us return to ourselves when old patterns begin to pull us back. I believe our self-worth is a critical piece of the puzzle. When you have a rooted sense of self-worth, you can start to ease more into who you actually are, what you genuinely desire, and then figure out how to get there. So if you're interested, the waitlist link is down below and you'll get a launch discount when it goes live. If you're looking for other ways to work together, you can just visit diajin.com. And if you want to stay connected and get access to all the behind the scenes fun stuff, subscribe to my Substack newsletter. Everything is going to be linked down below. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.